Mosaic, a daily news program from Link TV, presents a selection of news reports from independent and state-controlled broadcasters from throughout the Middle East.
Thousands of Lebanese, with encouragement from the government, marched in support of the Syrian presence in Lebanon, protesting a UN security resolution demanding that Damascus withdraw its troops from Lebanon. Major streets in Beirut were closed, while demonstrators from all over Lebanon and from the northern region were transported to Beirut to join the March of a Million. Political analysts believe that this demonstration is an attempt to reinforce a new political plan by the Lebanese Authority to precede the parliamentary election in the spring.
تظاهرة المليون انطلقت في شوارع العاصمة اللبنانية بيروت.
The March of a Million took place on the streets of the Lebanese capital Beirut under the banner of unity of track and destiny with Syria, opposing UN Resolution number 1559. Political parties and movements supporting the Lebanese government and Syria marched in this unprecedented demonstration in Lebanon. It is noteworthy that these parties are also ahead in the parliamentary election polls.
Most of the parliament members, most of the ministers, and even all the state institutions are participating one way or another. They are expressing the unity of track and destiny with Syria in confronting foreign intervention through the United Nations Resolution 1559, which is a blatant intervention in the Lebanese affairs.
We don't want to link the upcoming parliamentary elections to this popular demonstration. This is a national movement demonstrating loyalty to national principles, which Lebanese people from all levels and from every Lebanese region committed to. As I said, this demonstration reflects Lebanon's commitment to its legitimate right to resist the Israeli occupiers.
The real purpose of this demonstration is not to send a message to the international community saying that the majority of the Lebanese public opposes UN Resolution 1559, but it's in response to the opposition's campaign prior to the parliamentary election. This reason, however, was not declared by the political movements marching in the demonstration. They reiterated that the March of a Million was solely organized to oppose Resolution 1559.
This massive march reflects the united voice of Lebanon at all its levels, colors, and sects. All Lebanon opposes Resolution 1559 and rejects foreign intervention in Lebanon's internal affairs. Lebanon opposes interfering with the resistance, opposes interfering in its relationship with Syria, and opposes meddling with the affairs of our Palestinian brothers.
A clear position was expressed reflecting the extent of differences surrounding major issues, especially when dealing with the current situation. Hence, drafting a plan on how to deal with the controversial issues in Lebanon.
The Lebanese Authority and others are encouraging the public to demonstrate under the banner who is with Syria and who is with Sharon and Bush. I believe that these slogans are actually wrong because it does not reflect reality. A large portion of the Lebanese public does not agree with the current situation. If you present them with this slogan, and the same goes for me, I would definitely say, I'm not with Sharon or Bush, I am with Syria. If you ask me, however, what do you think about the practices in Lebanon and the relationship between Syria and Lebanon, I would say I have reservations. But it is wrong to categorize and say that the Lebanese who participated in the demonstration accept the status quo.
The March of a Million is a message being sent to more than one side, but the question remains, will it have any effect on the pressures exerted on Lebanon externally, or will it change the internal balance of political power? Caroline Baini, IBA TV, Beirut.
Now moving to Iraq, more than 21 people were killed and at least 17 others were injured in car bomb attacks in Iraq, whereas 3 U.S. occupation soldiers were killed and 3 others were injured in separate attacks in less than 24 hours. Meanwhile, the UN quoted the Iraqi Red Crescent as saying that there are more than 6,000 people killed in the U.S. offensive against the western Iraqi city of Fallujah.
A man was killed when a bomb he was allegedly planting by a road west of Baghdad exploded prematurely. His body could be seen lying in pieces on the ground, covered with newspaper and cardboard. In another attack, a U.S. occupation soldier was killed in a roadside attack on his military vehicle in Baghdad. The U.S. military, however, did not give further details on the circumstances of the attack. Meanwhile, 4 Iraqi civilians were killed and 17 others were injured when a car bomb exploded near a U.S. military convoy near the northern Iraqi town of Beji. A U.S. military spokesman said 2 U.S. soldiers were also wounded, adding at the same time a rocket-propelled grenade was fired at a U.S. tank, wounding a 3rd soldier. The spokesman said the condition of the 3 U.S. soldiers was not immediately known. A day earlier, 2 U.S. soldiers were also killed in a roadside bomb attack against their convoy in Baghdad. A car bomb had earlier exploded near a police station in Ramadi, killing some 12 people and injuring at least 10 others. 4 Iraqi National Guardsmen were killed in another car bomb attack in the town of Baghdadi. Clashes between U.S. occupation soldiers and Iraqi fighters meanwhile continued in Ramadi, where plumes of smoke were seen rising from the streets. And in the devastated city of Fallujah west of Baghdad, trucks loaded with humanitarian aid arrived in the city following the U.S.-led offensive against it that began nearly 3 weeks ago.
We do not need food and water, but we want to leave the city to see our families and see what has happened to them. Our families now are holding mourning and funerals for us because they thought that we have been killed and we are still living and trapped inside the city.
In comments reported by the UN Information Network spokesman Mohammed Al-Nouri said the Red Crescent believed more than 6,000 people may have died in the U.S. offensive against Fallujah. He said it was difficult to move around the city due to the number of dead bodies. No outbreak of disease has been reported, but the destruction is widespread, with at least 1/3 of houses needing rebuilding, and it will be up to 2 months before about 250,000 civilians who fled the city will be able to return.
EU Foreign Policy Chief Javier Solana said Iran's pledge to freeze uranium enrichment activities can open a new chapter in bilateral ties, confirming that the EU will resume trade talks with Tehran in December. His comments came after the International Atomic Energy Agency adopted a toned-down resolution the Iranians hailed as a victory against the US.
Iran did not hide its joy after scoring a victory against